Close your eyes for a second and picture this. You're in a room full of people, some shouting, some arguing, others trying to prove they're the smartest, the toughest, the most important. The energy is intense, almost overwhelming. But then there's one person who stands out. They're not the loudest, they're not the most aggressive, they're not even the center of attention, yet somehow they're the one everyone listens to, the one everyone respects, the one who seems to hold all the power. Why? Because they're calm. Now, what if I told you that the most powerful person in the room isn't the one who talks the loudest, fights the hardest, or demands the most attention? What if I told you that real power doesn't come from reacting? It comes from choosing how to respond. That the strongest people aren't the ones who let their emotions control them, but the ones who control their emotions. Think about it. Who do you admire more? The person who explodes at every insult, or the one who stays composed under pressure? The person who gets pulled into every argument, or the one who rises above it? The truth is, we've been sold a lie. We've been taught that strength means being tough, being loud, being unshakable like a rock. But real strength? Real strength is being unshakable like the ocean, deep, calm, and impossible to disturb. Today, I'm going to show you how to stop being controlled by your emotions and start living with real strength. Not the kind of strength that fades after an argument, but the kind that lasts a lifetime. The kind that changes how people see you. The kind that changes how you see yourself. Because here's the secret. The calmest person in the room isn't just powerful, they're untouchable. So let's dive in. 1. The trap of reaction. We live in a world where everyone wants your reaction. Think about it. Social media algorithms are designed to push your buttons. Negative news spreads faster than positive news because outrage gets clicks. People in your life, sometimes even without realizing it, test you with sarcasm, insults, or silence just to see how you'll respond. And here's the sad truth. Most people take the bait. Someone insults you, and within seconds you fire back. Someone ignores your message, and suddenly you're typing 3 long paragraphs demanding an explanation. Someone spreads a rumor about you, and before even thinking, you confront them with anger. It feels powerful in the moment. But what actually happened? You gave away control. Science proves this. Researchers at UCLA found that when you react emotionally, your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, hijacks your decision-making. In that moment, logic shuts down. You're not choosing your action, you're being controlled. And people know this. That's why bullies push buttons. That's why toxic partners give you the silent treatment. That's why trolls comment online. They want a reaction, because your reaction is their control. Imagine a coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment in front of your boss. Well, at least some of us get our work done on time. Your instant reaction might be to defend yourself. What do you mean by that? But the room doesn't see the insult. They see you as defensive, emotional, maybe even guilty. You thought you were standing up for yourself, but you've just handed them the narrative. Here's the key. Reacting fast doesn't make you strong. It makes you predictable. And predictable people are easy to manipulate. Now, I'm not saying you should stay silent forever, but I am saying you should recognize the trap. Every instant reaction is like handing someone the remote control to your emotions. They press a button, and suddenly you're angry, sad, or frustrated. Who's really in control, you or them? Ask yourself this. How many moments in my life have been destroyed because I reacted too fast? Did I ever send a text in anger that I wish I could unsend? Did I ever shout at someone I love only to regret it 5 minutes later? Did I ever overreact to a small problem, making it 10 times bigger than it actually was? We've all been there, and that's what makes this lesson so powerful. You don't need to be ashamed of your past reactions. You just need to recognize the pattern, because once you see the trap, you can choose not to step into it. 2. The hidden cost of reactions. Here's something no one tells you. Emotional reactions don't just steal your peace in the moment. They leave scars that last for years, sometimes even a lifetime. Think about it. How many regrets in your life are tied to what someone did to you versus how you reacted to it? The pain we carry isn't usually from the event itself. It's from our own response. That's the hidden cost of reactions, and it's far heavier than you realize. This isn't just philosophy, it's science. A study from Stanford University found that people who regularly react with anger have higher cortisol levels, the stress hormone that damages memory and impairs judgment. In other words, the more you react, the less clearly you think, and the worse your decisions become. Your reactions aren't just emotional, they're rewiring your brain for stress and poor choices. And it doesn't stop there. Research from Harvard Business Review shows that impulsive reactions at work, whether it's an angry email, a slammed door, or a harsh tone in a meeting, are remembered far longer than actual mistakes. Your colleagues might forget the numbers you missed, but they'll never forget the outburst. That's the power of a reaction. It sticks. Let me tell you a story. A man notices his partner didn't reply to his message for hours. Feeling ignored, he reacts. He sends a long, angry text. "You don't care about me. You never respect me." Later, he finds out she was in the hospital visiting her sick mother. But by then, it's too late. His reaction didn't reflect reality. It destroyed trust. The damage wasn't from her silence. It was from his words. And that's the cost. You don't carry their actions. You carry the guilt of your response. Or consider this. A woman loves her younger sister deeply, but during a family gathering, her sister makes a sarcastic comment about a painful memory. In that moment, the woman explodes. She shouts insults in front of everyone, saying things she doesn't even mean. Her sister leaves, humiliated. Days turn into weeks, and their bond never fully recovers. Years later, when she looks at old family photos, she doesn't cry about her sister's comment. She cries about her reaction. That's the hidden cost. You don't carry the problem, you carry the shame of how you broke down. And in the workplace, a manager under pressure explodes in a meeting. He yells at his team, calls them lazy, and storms out. The project gets finished, but months later, when leadership positions open up, he's overlooked. Why? Not because of his skills, he was talented, but because of that one moment, people stopped trusting his emotional stability. His reputation wasn't hard-working anymore, it was emotional. One reaction cost him years of progress. That's the price of impulsivity. It doesn't just hurt the moment, it hurts your future. Here's something powerful to try. Think of one situation in your past where your reaction made things worse. Now, replay it in your mind, but this time imagine you paused. Imagine you took a breath, waited a few minutes and responded calmly. How different would the outcome be? Would that relationship still be alive? Would that opportunity still exist? The lesson is clear. Most reactions feel powerful in the moment, but almost always become regrets in the long run. If you want to protect your future, you must protect yourself from impulsive reactions, because peace is stronger than anger, and patience is more powerful than impulse. 3. The secret pause. Now that we've uncovered the trap of reaction and the heavy cost it brings, the question is, how do we break free? How do we stop being controlled by every insult, every silence, every criticism? The answer is simpler than you think. It's called the pause. And it's the secret weapon of emotionally strong people. Neuroscientists at Harvard discovered something incredible. When you take just a few seconds to breathe before responding, your brain physically changes. The amygdala, your emotional alarm system, calms down while the prefrontal cortex, your logical decision maker, lights up. In other words, those 5 seconds of silence don't just calm you down. They rewire your brain from impulsive reaction to rational clarity. This isn't just psychology, it's biology. Every time you pause, you're training your brain to choose wisdom over emotion. You're building a habit that protects your peace, your relationships, and your future. Imagine this. A young professional is publicly criticized by her manager in a meeting. Her instinct is to fight back, to defend herself, to prove him wrong, but instead she remembers the pause. She breathes. She stays silent. After the meeting, she calmly asks for a private conversation. Instead of being labeled emotional in front of her colleagues, she's seen as mature, composed, and respected. One pause saved her reputation and her career. That's the power of the pause. It doesn't just change the moment, it changes how people see you. Here's how to use it. 1. Inhale deeply for 2 seconds. 2. Hold your breath for 1 second. 3. Exhale slowly for 2 seconds. That's it. Just 5 seconds. In those seconds, your body relaxes, your heart rate slows, and your mind clears. You haven't lost your voice. You've gained control of it. You're no longer reacting, you're responding with intention. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Normally, you'd slam the horn, yell, or chase them. But this time, you pause. You breathe. You laugh at how silly it would be to let a stranger ruin your day. Instead of carrying anger to work or home, you arrive calm. That's the power of the pause. It doesn't just change one moment, it protects your entire day. Why the pause works socially. People expect a reaction. When you don't give them one, you confuse them. You take away their control. You flip the power dynamic. A bully who can't make you angry loses interest. A partner who can't make you jealous starts respecting your composure. A troll online who gets silence instead of outrage disappears. The pause isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's the ultimate way to say, "You don't control me." When Gandhi was insulted, threatened, or even physically attacked, he didn't react with rage. He paused. He stayed calm. He responded with wisdom. His pause was so powerful, it moved entire nations. The world remembers his calmness as strength, not weakness. That's the legacy of the pause. It turns composure into power. Practical exercise. The Pause Journal. For 1 week, track moments where you normally would have reacted. Instead of reacting, pause and write down how you feel afterward. You'll notice a pattern. Regret disappears and pride replaces it. Each pause is a small victory for your peace. Each pause is proof that you're no longer a puppet, you're in control. Reacting instantly might feel satisfying for a moment, but pausing gives you something much greater: freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from guilt, freedom from being controlled by others. The pause cuts the strings. It's your secret to staying untouchable. 4. Becoming untouchable. We've explored the trap of reaction, the weight of regret, and the transformative power of the pause. But now, let's take it further. What happens when you make this a way of life? You don't just manage your emotions, you become untouchable. What does untouchable mean? Being untouchable doesn't mean nothing bad ever happens. It means nothing outside of you has the power to control you anymore. People can insult you. You don't lose your peace. Circumstances can test you. You don't lose your focus. Life can throw storms at you. You stay calm at the center. That is true strength. That is emotional mastery. It's not about avoiding challenges. It's about rising above them. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He was insulted, mistreated, and silenced. Yet when he was finally released, he didn't react with bitterness or vengeance. He paused. He chose forgiveness. He led with peace. His composure made him untouchable, not because life was easy, but because he refused to let life control his inner world. That's the essence of untouchable strength. It's a choice, not a circumstance. Studies on resilience prove that people who regulate their emotions live longer, build healthier relationships, and achieve more consistent success. Psychologists call this emotional intelligence. And here's the kicker. It's a stronger predictor of life success than IQ. In other words, how you manage your emotions matters more than how smart you are. Your ability to stay untouchable isn't just personal power. It's your greatest advantage. Picture a family dinner that turns heated. Voices rise, fingers point, and chaos takes over. But one person stays calm. They listen. They speak with clarity. Guess who everyone turns to? Not the loudest, but the calmest. That person becomes the anchor. They don't get pulled into the storm. They steady it. That's what it means to be untouchable. You don't just survive the chaos. You transform it. Here's how to build this strength in your own life. 1. The pause habit. Start small. Practice pausing in everyday annoyances, when someone cuts in line or interrupts you. These small wins train your brain for bigger challenges. 2. Reframe the trigger. Instead of thinking, "They disrespected me," shift to, "They're showing me their character, not mine." This simple reframe removes their power over your emotions. 3. Silent strength. In conflicts, delay your response. Let silence work for you. Often, people reveal more in silence than they ever would in an argument. Your calm becomes your leverage. Picture Martin Luther King Jr. During protests, Martin Luther King Jr. faced spit, insults, and violence. Did he react with rage? Number. He became untouchable. His calmness wasn't weakness. It was strategy, dignity, and unstoppable strength. He didn't just endure the storm, he changed its direction. That's the power of being untouchable. You don't just weather the chaos, you redefine it. Here is practical exercise. Every night, ask yourself one question. Who controlled my emotions today? Me or someone else? If the answer wasn't you, don't judge yourself. Just prepare. Tomorrow is another chance to practice. Mastery isn't built in a day, but with repetition, you'll notice something profound. Insults won't sting as much. Arguments won't pull you in. Chaos won't shake you. That's the moment you'll know you've become untouchable. But here's the most beautiful part. Being untouchable doesn't mean you're cold or detached. It means you're free, free to choose your response, free to protect your peace, free to live on your terms, and that's a strength no one can take from you. Reacting might feel powerful in the moment, but true strength is calm. The one who controls their emotions controls their life, and that person can be you. If this message hit home, share it with someone who needs peace today. And remember, 5 seconds can change your life.